Today we're going to look at all your favorite cards that you love, but you know they're not so good. They actually suck. So let's start off with one of mine. Misdirection. I love this card. It's really nostalgic. It's one of the first cards I ever got to play with in Magic the Gathering, and you haven't lived until you tap out and your opponent thinks, oh, they're tapped out, I can destroy their creature. No, no, no. Because Misdirection says, well, first off, I can remove a blue card in my hand from the game instead of paying Misdirection's mana cost. And target spell with a single target targets another target instead. So if you target a single thing, I can switch it around to something else. So if you try to bolt my bird, I will bolt your goblin or your I don't know, your something, your ogre. But the problem is with this card, particularly for Commander, is this card, what's it called? No one targets one thing in Commander. Like, I think I've played with this card like 1,000,000 times, and it's just been rotting in my hand doing nothing. I've literally not been able to snipe off a single thing with Misdirection, unfortunately. I think its best chance is like, what's it called? I don't know, maybe I can counter a counter. There is a weird trick with this where if someone tries to counter one of your spells, you can actually misdirect a counter spell to Misdirection, and then it'll fizzle upon resolution. So that's one trick you can do that, but I still haven't been able to pull that off. Anyway, not thrilled that I have not been. I know it's bad, but I still have it in my Commander deck because one day we're going to get somebody, people. That's what we live for, don't we? We live to get somebody. All right, we got the Spew later with Dimensional Breach. Just loving a Pseudo Wrath. Dimensional Breach. By the way, this is partially, I have this show because we have all these videos like best sorceries, best artifacts, best instants in Magic the Gathering, and people are just showing off their pet cards. All right, so today, please show off your pet cards, even if they're not the best. That's the whole point of this type of show. Dimensional Breach, a white 5 generic sorcery. Remove all permanents from the game. Oh God! As long as any of those cards remain removed from the game at the beginning. Hold on. As long as any of those cards remain removed from the game at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player returns one of the removed cards he or she owns to play. That is, I didn't even know this card existed. That is pretty neat. I don't know what you could exile that would screw everyone else. So I don't know, like an Eldrazi or something. You exile an Eldrazi, you bring your Eldrazi back, and with Annihilator, you need an Annihilator Eldrazi, and then everyone's screwed because they're only getting one permanent back every single turn. Will it be land or creature, people? Will it be land or creature? Oh, this is everybody's Mana Tithe. You see this every so often, even in Modern. Pay a white instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays one. This card is really there for the gotchas. Because if you pull this off once, you might as well side out all the Mana Tithes for games 2 and 3. Like, they're not going to fall for this again. Or they're very unlikely to fall for it again. I know one deck that made this work really well. It was a red-white. It was a Boros Ponza deck. And so, like, you're sort of incentivized to tap out and make the best use of your mana before your lands get blown up. But then they Mana Tithe you. Oh! That's a dagger. That's a dagger you'd never like to fall for. This is you fell for it again, and I'll fall for Mana Tithe once more. They always pull it out when you least expect it, and I guess that's when it's best. Brad says, "Good morning, Nikachu. I'm going with Argivian Archaeologist. Used to run this repeatedly with Jester's Cap and Chaos Orb. The white 1 generic human artificer 1/1 pay white tap." God, you're sinking a lot of mana into this. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. It's not even coming into play. Fascinated by the lore of ancient struggles, the archaeologist searches incessantly for remnants of an earlier, more powerful era. But in Commander, I guess it's okay. You know, you do it at end of turn. You do it at instant speed. You got a lot of mana to work with. A little puny guy. It's very, very, very slow reanimator. You gotta be kidding me. Who lets you play with this card? Shahrazad. Stupid sub-game card. Who invited you? And who re-invited you? Or do you just play, or are you one of those people that you just find your way into a play group because you know you're only going to be there once. So you just play Shahrazad against them. And they're like, isn't that banned? You're like, I don't care. You gonna send me back home? Like, what are you gonna do? Has anyone been in that situation where someone shows up with banned cards and they're like, so what? So what if it's banned? Who cares? Oh, we got Alex Lab with the super chat. Immortal Coil. What does it do, though? Okay, black, 2 generic. Artifact. Tap. Remove 2 cards in your graveyard from the game. Draw a card. If damage would be dealt to you, prevent that damage. Remove a card in your graveyard from the game for each 1 damage prevented this way. That's not bad! If you can fill your graveyard up enough. When there are no cards in your graveyard, you lose the game. Holy moly! The cost is a little high here, don't we think? I'm like, hey, these abilities aren't bad. This is looking pretty good. Why haven't I heard about this card? And then when there are no cards in your graveyard, you lose the game. Holy smokes. Okay, this is like high risk, insanely low reward. Maybe it's better in Commander if you can dump, I don't know, at least 40 cards in your graveyard. Then it's effectively it's better than your life total. John Doe with the super chat. Black Cat, fun popper card. The Black Cat. Is it that bad? Of course it's bad. It's a zombie cat. Black 1 generic 1/1. When it dies, target opponent discards a card at random. The problem is the dying part. Why don't you just... Isn't there a rat that does this? Well, maybe not at random. There's a rat, I think, enters the battlefield. Your opponent has to discard a card, but they get to choose. You just live for that thrill of them discarding like that land that they needed, or their bomb. I was gonna say their bomb rare, but it doesn't work like that in Pauper. They ain't got no rares. That bomb common, whatever. The Cooler King. In the days of Fallen Empire / Ice Age, Bloodlust was a dual-purpose card in my red-green deck. I could Bloodlust plus Giant Growth my Curd Ape, or I could Bloodlust plus Lightning 3 your Sarah Angel / Sing Your Vampire. Bloodlust? Bloodlust. It has a dual-purpose card! What does it do? Oh my god. Okay, so red 1 generic. If target creature has toughness 5 or greater, it gets +4, -4 until end of turn. Otherwise, it gets +4 - X until end of turn, where X is its toughness -1. Oh, I see. So basically, it will just turn into a one toughness creature. So you're going big, is what you're saying. Like, you want more giant. You needed an extra giant growth, is what you're telling me. And so that giant growth came in the form of the Bloodlust. 2 mana, +4. Sweet stuff. Mitch, thank you so much for the super chat, Mitch. Good to be back. Favorite fun card, Cruel Ultimatum. It's not that bad though, right? Or I don't know, how good or bad is this in Commander? I'm assuming it's okay. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Yes! Oh, it's a target opponent. Finally, something I can misdirect to somebody else. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, they lose 5 life, but then you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, draw 3 cards, gain 5 life. Basically, what is it? It's 7 mana for 4 cards, and so a little bit of life gain. Maybe there's a few better things you can do with your 7 mana, but that's not too bad. D. Scoats, Goblin Game. Goblin Game. Oh my god. Some of you people like to play with novels here. So some people will spend 7 mana on Cruel Ultimatum. Some people will spend it on Goblin Game. Each player hides at least 1 object, then all players reveal them simultaneously. Each player loses life equal to the number of objects he or she revealed. The player who revealed the fewest objects then loses half of his or her life rounded up. If 2 or more players are tied for fewest, each loses half of his or her life, rounded up. Hilarious stuff. Oh, this is a funny one from Cooler King, Lightning Bolts. If anyone's playing with this in Commander, yeah, this is terrible. Great on one-on-one constructed, but terrible in Commander. Oh, hold on. Did anyone respond to the, Does anyone know if Cruel Ultimatum is good in Commander? I'll assume it is. I'll assume it's fine. Maybe, I mean, okay, it's gotta be good in casual Commander, because I guess in competitive Commander you'd be smoked by then. Alright, we got Flonino Megrim in a black discard deck. Megrim. So you're saying, like, this is suboptimal? Oh, Megrim. I thought Megrim was a person. Black, 2 generic. Whenever an opponent discards a card, Megrim deals 2 damage to that player. Discard decks are just so hard to work, because you can only discard while they have cards in their hand, but then when they're empty-handed, well, the discard strategy is really garbage, because then they'll just play everything that they play from there. So this is a card we wish is good, but it works until it doesn't work. Until they're empty-handed. They run out of gas. Moderation Gaming. My all-time favorite pet card in Modern EDH is Commandeer. You know what? There's a lot of people in Modern that love this card too. Same situation. Not good. Not good, but it's like Misdirection. When you get them, you get them. You get them hard. So blue, 5 generic. But wait, there's more. You can remove two. The cost is insanely high. You got to remove 2 blue cards in your hand from the game rather than pay Commandeer's mana cost. Gain control of target non-creature spell. You may choose new targets for it. So if they got themselves a Teferi Time Raveler, now it's your Teferi Time Raveler. Karn the Great Creator, now it's your Karn the Great Creator. They try to... I don't know, this is a really bad thing to redirect with lightning. I mean, if they try to lightning bolt your creature, I think I just let it die. Use my Commandeer for something else, but really good at stealing planeswalkers. Ugin the Spirit Dragon? It's now my Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I've commandeered the ship. The ship has been commandeered. AS with the Rack. Oh, you like the Rack? Classic. Well, believe it or not, I mean, if you're playing it in Commander, probably it's pretty poor. As the Rack, or maybe it's better in Commander. Force everyone to be empty-handed, not draw anything. So as the Rack comes into play, choose an opponent. Oh, you can only choose one opponent. Oh yeah, that sucks in Commander. At the beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, that the Rack deals X damage to that player, where X is 3 minus the number of cards in his or her hand. This card, it like waves in playability in Modern. Sometimes it's completely unplayable, and then sometimes it's barely playable. But playable. Barely. Just barely. Yeah, we're not as specific. Oh, it's open field, anything. You could say the format. That might help. Like playing the Rack in Commander. That ain't gonna work. That doesn't seem very good. It doesn't look like good use. We can talk about anything. Yeah, just in general. Just in general. Disrupting Shoal. You still playing this one? Yeah, this one's really hard to use. I have played this in competitive events. So it's blue X, which probably is the best part of this card, to be honest. So you counter target spell if its converted mana cost is X. So if it's 3 mana, you can sink 5 mana into this thing and counter it. So it's not that bad. But you can exile a blue card in your hand with converted mana cost X rather than pay the spell's mana cost. So if I remove a blue spell with 3, that's mana value 3, then I can counter a 3-drop. If I remove a blue card with converted mana cost 4, I can counter a 4-drop. So, but it's so hard to have the mana value in your hand to line up with the spell being cast. And then sometimes if they play something too expensive, it's just impossible. So it's a super awkward, really awkward card. And you can't hit the early stuff either, like somebody's Soul Ring, because you may not have enough 1-drops in your deck either, because you usually just want to be a little bit more on the chunkier side, right? You want to be on the chunkier side. All right, Mitch. Mitch is back. We're talking EDH. Debt to the Deathless is fun. Debt to the Deathless. Oh yeah, I think I recall many. What's it called? I think I recall many a deck list review with this card. Black, black, white, white, X. Each opponent loses 2 times X life. You gain X life equal to the life lost this way. They lose 2 times. You think you're gonna go big, but then you end up going no. You don't gain that much. You need like a lot of mana. But if you did that, you might as well have just played a regular spell. Dat Shepto, Quain. What is Quain? Oh, it's a rabbit. It's a rabbit wizard. Not a lot of rabbits out there. So blue-white for a 1/3 creature. Tap. Each player may draw a card. Then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life. So, I mean, yeah, technically it's not good in the sense of being competitive because, well, you're giving everybody a card. But it's a group friend type of card. Everyone gets to draw a card. It's card draws on the house on me. Everyone have a nice card draw. You know, I like this card. I like the art. I think it's cool. All right, you heard the music. That means we have to do the business. FusionGamingOnline.com is today's sponsor. You saw those wicked awesome Dominaria remastered cards. Well, you know where to pre-order them from. If you want to support the channel, you pre-order them from FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu when you do that, though, so you save 5% off, and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Get your Pauper game on. If you want to play bad cards, you know that suck, but you don't want to put any money into it because, you know, they're garbage. You rent them with Mana Traders. Get your Mana Tithes today. They got full inventory. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_WS2. And now back to the crazy fan favorite cards. People love your fan favorite cards. All right. Huge super chat. Fling. Oh, God. The actual Fling. Yeah, this is a card we all know is just awful, but we play it anyway. Red 1 generic. At an additional cost to cast the spell, sack your creature. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. I think we just live for the idea of getting this giant creature on the board, and we're sending it one way. And it's funny because, like, these creatures, there must be some good combos with Fling, like maybe some gigantic creature with Defender that has no purpose but to sit there, and then you just ship it with Fling. Because otherwise, why don't you just attack with a creature? I mean, that's like flinging every turn, isn't it? No. We gotta fling. We gotta win in style. We have to win in style. That's what we do. All right, Gunblade Knight. Vizier of Remedies. What are you talking about? This is a great card. Remedies. 2 mana for a 2/1 is an ability that almost never comes up. Well, you're not building around it properly. This is the infinite mana generator. You're supposed to play this with, what's it called? Devoted Druid. Oops. So you play with Devoted Druid because you can't put -1. So the idea is it taps for a green, but then you put a -1/-1 counter on it to untap it, but then, you're not allowed to put the -1. So you activate by trying, but you don't end up putting the -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid because Vizier of Remedy says, well, it can't have it. So you try, and that's all you had to do, and it untaps. You have infinite mana. Tap for a mana, untap, tap for tap. You can thank me later. I think it was worth the $5 that you now know about this interaction. It's a very good card. I know, but it's by itself, it's terrible. Well, any card by itself is terrible. There's a lot of cards out there that need reinforcements. We got Sarvis. For me, it has to be Drizzt Do'Urden. Drizzt Do'Urden. I love the character so long before I got the card. Oh, you read the novels, right? You're a lore master. All right, white, green, 3 generic for 3/3. So I guess in your mind, you're like, I love this character. Can't wait till they make a card. Here's the card. Oh, it's a Dungeons and Dragons card. The Elf Ranger. Double strike when Drizzt Do'Urden enters the battlefield. Create Gunhuivar, a legendary 4/1 cat creature token with trample. It's really hard to pronounce these characters. Whenever a creature dies, if it has a power greater than Drizzt's power, Put a number of +1/+1 counter on Drizzt equal to the difference. It's when you're in love with the character, but the card ends up being pretty terrible. All right, Flonino, what's up now? Soren Markov with Soren's Vengeance. Soren Markov with Soren's Vengeance? I usually don't look at 2 cards at once, but I just want to know what the hell this is about. Soren's Vengeance deals 10 damage to target player, and you gain 10 life. Target opponent's life total becomes 10. That's a combo. Keep that combo in mind for when we talk about bad combos that actually work. Target, so go -3. Target's opponent's life total become 10. All right, are you at 10? All right, well, we're gonna deal 10 damage to you. Got him. Got him. More super chats. Uber Shrimp. You missed 2 super chats. Did I? I think I got them. Oh no, you're right. I missed some more. Okay, thank you so much. Garrett. You guys, people really going to be on here. Browbeat. I think we're only going to look at Browbeat. I have no idea if these all go together. You only get 1 card per super chat. Red 2 generic. Any player may have Browbeat deal 5 damage to him or her. If no one does, target player draws 3 cards. It's like we have the you play Browbeat and you do it because you want to deal the damage to them. But the problem is, what if they take you up on your offer of drawing 3 cards and you're like, well, crap, they're at 5. I would rather they were dead instead. I think the problem is there's a lot of burn decks that want to play this, but it's just a waste of time because you would rather have had that guaranteed damage. How does this work in Commander, though? Maybe someone will just say, yeah, I'll take 5 damage, whatever. I'm at 35, big deal. Shove it. Okay, we got Uber Shrimp. I play Goblin Tutor in my Goblin Commander deck for the meme. Goblin Tutor? When is there a bad tutor? I know it's silvered bordered. Oh, I guess that's the problem. 2 out of 6 modes do nothing. Okay, red, instant. Roll a 6-sided die. If you roll a 1, Goblin Tutor has no effect. Otherwise, search your library for the indicated card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shelf your library. 2, a card named Goblin Tutor. That's not bad. You storm off. 3, an enchantment. 4, an artifact. 5, a creature. 6, an instant or sorcery. It's like basically a random tutor. Very, very, very random. Okay, we're gonna look at a freebie here. Black okay, I'll do. Somehow I've chosen you Cooler King like 3 times today. It's not fair to everybody else. Oh, it's basically... Oh, it's that banned card. Or it used to be banned, I think, in Legacy. Choose an opponent. At the beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in their hand -4. It's like another rack. Guttural Response by Tommy. Tommy deserves a card. Tommy's here like every single day. If there's someone who has never missed a Coffee and MTG, it's Tommy. Okay, so for a hybrid Gruul, counter target blue instant spell. I think this is in some sideboards, somewhere, in some format, but I could be wrong. Yeah, but it's really narrow. But it's like a counter spell for green. So like they've got that going for it. So if you're desperate in the green, you play the Guttural Response. Okay, Garrett came back with the Pygmy Hippo. Pygmy Hippo. I forget what this is. Blue, green, 2/2. If Pygmy Hippo attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to have it deal no combat damage this turn. If you do, defending player draws all mana from his or her hand, and then his or her mana pool is emptied. After combat, and add an equal amount of colorless mana to your mana pool. So hold on, so you're like sort of risking it for the biscuit. If it attacks and it's not blocked, you choose to have it deal no combat damage this turn. That sucks. And if you do, defending player draws all mana from his or her lands. How does that work today? Because like that's like back when you could like force people to take all their mana. Okay, I'm looking at the Oracle text. You may have defending player activate a mana ability of each land they control and lose all unspent mana. Oh, you steal their mana, turns into colorless mana. That's neat! Yeah, but it's so neat and yet it's so terrible. Marcelo! Timberwatch Elf. Timberwatch Elf. When I started playing Magic, this was my favorite card. How? Green 2 generic 1/2. Tap target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of elves on the battlefield. I guess if you had a low-powered elf deck, this was really sweet. So you just swing in with like 10 elves. Oh, you didn't block that one. Well, we're gonna Timberwatch Elf that thing up to like a 10/10 creature. You did. Thanks for sharing. Casual gaming sofa. Storm Herd. Use in my life gain deck, but I've yet had the opportunity to actually cast it for any worth, but my day will come eventually. That's just like me with Misdirection. Storm Herd, white, 8 generic, sorcery. Create X/1/1 white Pegasus creature tokens with flying, where X is your life total. In theory, that sounds good, because your life total starts at 40. You have plenty of life to work with in Commander. You're gonna get 40 Pegasuses. But you need to live long enough to cast this card. You need more ramp, basically. Play more ramp in your deck. Snap this thing out. What else do we have here? We've got Arekusu. Thank you so much for the super chat. Drown of Secrets. Blew your mind. Drowner. This blew your mind? This doesn't do anything, right? Blue, 2 generic, 1/3, Merfolk Wizard. Tap and untap Merfolk you control. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I can just tap my Merfolk and put your cards into your graveyard? This is amazing! That's broken! And then you learn that, you know, the mill we all learn the mill strategy the hard way. Is like not one of the best strategies out there. Yeah, my misdirection started the stream. You can see that on the replay. Mr. Deadhead, Crucible of Worlds. What's wrong with that? You can live the dream of strip mining someone every single turn, right? You can play land cards from your graveyard. I guess in actual competitive Magic, it like has seen play, but it's a bit awkward. It's just a little too clunky for its effect. It's like really good. Like it's a really nice effect, but it's just too clunky for competitive play. The Shivan Wumpus. Oh, I didn't even know this existed. Red 3 generic for a 6/6 trampler. When Shivan Wumpus enters, was I thinking about Humpus Wumpus or something like that? When Shivan Wumpus comes into play, any player may sack a land. If a player does, put Shivan Wumpus on the top of its owner's library. Well, that sucks. And that is such a beating, actually. I would sack my land. I guess it's a good card in a Ponza deck, in theory. Is this modern legal? This is a modern legal card. 4 mana with trample. Alright, you got any lands you want to sack? You usually don't want to sack your lands. Abzo, Fiendslayer Paladin is my pet card. It just looks cool. The Fiendslayer. It has double strike, right? Or first strike. White, 1 generic for a 2/2 human knight. First strike, lifelink. Can't be the target of black or red spells your opponents control, but it can be the target of your stuff. I always looked at this like a Jedi. Oh, is that the deal? It just looks cool. You're a fan of Star Wars, aren't you? This is like Boba Fett gets a lightsaber. Or something. Did Boba Fett ever have a lightsaber in his hand, or was he always a blaster guy? I know the lightsaber is not his weapon, but, or Jango Fett. Maybe Jango Fett. I can't tell. I don't remember. Juan! Hunted Wumpus. I summon 3 free ones in 1 turn. Hunted Wumpus. Okay, so what is... so we were just talking about Shivan Wumpus. The Hunted Wumpus. For a green and 3 generic, we have a 6/6. When Hunted Wumpus enters the battlefield, each other player may put a creature card from their hand onto the battlefield. Oh, God! This, in Commander, this is just brutal. I'm thinking, like, this is also modern legal. Where did they reprint this card? 10th edition? They brought it back in 10th. Like, if you know your opponent's hand is empty, this is like a well, I guess it's not that decent. It's just a 6/6 beater. We have better by today's standards. The Hunted Wumpus. Okay, Boba Fett uses guns and sword things rarely. Alright, rarely. Never saw that. A saber bit. I do now. Yeah, I know. I don't know. You didn't snap. I snap saw it. It looked like something out of Star Wars. The lightsaber. The glowing sword. Laser swords. Nothing says future like laser swords. Pichu, pichu, pichu. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Alright, Arikusu is back. Das because my first pet deck was Mill Merfolk, Maregery, plus Stony Brook Banneret, and any double mana allowed me to play all my Merfolks from my hand. Is Das a card? Okay, hold on. What's Das? Is Das an actual card? This is an inefficient super chat. My first deck was Mill Merfolk, Maregery plus Stony Brook Banneret. Hold on. Stony Brook. I sort of understand what you're trying to get at. Hold on, Stony. But I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Because... Oh, you're talking about the mill creature. So between Stony Brook Banneret and Maregery, you can play all your cards and then play Drowner of Secrets. That's what you're getting at? That's why Drowner of Secrets was the card. I know, I understand the strategy. Dump your hand of Merfolk and start milling them out. It's just like, I've seen people try to do this in Modern and they just lost all their games. Barrington with the super chat. Reckless Fireweaver, only good in specific EDH decks. Reckless Fire. Red 1 generic 1/3. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Reckless Fireweaver deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever an artifact... That seems okay. Yeah, you're living the dream of just basically like storming off, but the storm card is actually like Reckless Fireweaver. It's like Grape Shot up front. You know, instead of Grape Shot at the end, you have your Reckless Fireweaver. And it's very vulnerable. If your opponents see what you're doing, looping like artifacts from your graveyard over and over and over again. The Mandalorian had a dark saber. The more I know. I haven't seen The Mandalorian. Good show. The problem is you have to watch it on Disney Plus. I don't have a Disney subscription. F that. I don't need any more than Netflix, which I already don't buy. Just mooch off my parents. Alright, now, oh, Platinum Angel. Oh, that's a big one. How much is Platinum Angel? How much does this card cost? It's like an $8 card. Or I can get as low as $5. It's like an $8 card because people try to live the dream with Platinum Angel. 7 mana for a 4/4 flyer. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. You're just like, shove it. Shove it, everyone. I've got my Platinum Angel out here. No one goes any further than this. You got to deal with the angel before you deal with the game. Okay, so Burning Paper. Thank you very much for the super chat, even though there's nothing here. Did you have something? Oh, you did. You're supposed to give the super chat at the same time. Okay, Herald of I don't know this. Leshrac. Black 6 generic for a 2/4 flyer. Cumulative upkeep, gain control of a land you don't control. Oh, that's pretty cool. Herald of Leshrac gets +1/+1 for each land you control, but don't own. When Herald of Leshrac leaves play, each player gains control of each land he or she owns that you don't control. So it's like a really slow Armageddon. And then hopefully you have some sack effect. Like, hey, I'm going to take your land. I'm going to sack your land. You're not getting that land back. That's pretty cool. Cool stuff. GSC Dominate. What's Dominate? Oh, this card. Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X or less. Yeah, there are better. I mean, you can just play... Wait, can't you just play, like, Mind Control? Isn't that just better? Gain control of target creature. Like, it's any creature. It's like, hold on, is it Mind Control? No, Control Magic. Control Magic is like 4 mana. 4 mana enchant creature, you control enchanted creature. Now, in theory, they could blow up the aura. But let's be serious, nobody's doing that. So you're just doing it the hard way. You're paying 3 mana in X. Where did this come from? Nemesis? This is the worst way to steal a creature, but it will be permanent. Yeah. The super chat is acting funny. Well, it's only acting funny for you, but I appreciate it anyway. All right, we got Balder back with the super chats. Glimpse the unthinkable. Glimpse the unthinkable. Hey, if you want to make this work, you just build mill in modern. Target player mills 10 cards. That's like I think I calculated this out. It's like dealing 3.25 damage to somebody. I mean, it depends on how many cards are left in their deck. I mean, if they have 10 cards left in their deck, you might as well deal 20 damage to them. Glimpse the unthinkable. If you try to play that in Commander, yeah, you got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to do. Oh, here's Cooler King. Umbra Mantle. What the hell? With Elvish Archdruid and an Elf deck? Oh, so you're going to... So it already has... Equipped creature has pay 3, untap. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And then this creature... Oh, you're going to make it infinite. So, like, you can add a bunch of mana with Elvish Archdruid. That's the 3. You pay the 3, untap, and you just go infinite with it. Infinite mana, infinite pump. Well, I don't know about infinite mana. I mean, you can do it infinite times, but you'll get the infinite pump. And then Baldur is back again. Master of Cruelties, my guilty pleasure. Now that's a garbage card. That is certified garbage. Does anyone play this in Commander? Has anyone lost to a Master of Cruelties? That's the ultimate embarrassment. Okay, first strike, Death Touch. Death Touch exactly as we would think it should work. Master of Cruelties can only attack alone. Stay back. I'm gonna do this myself. When Master of Cruelties attacks a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Oh yeah, but it doesn't kill them. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this combat. I thought it killed them. Whatever. Alright, I took him down to 1. Finish him off. Ya minions. I mean, I guess that's the worst part of this. Oh, but then... No, Master of Cruelties technically cannot kill anybody. It kills nobody. You can cheat him? You can cheat him in? How do you cheat him in? Oh, you like, you know, like, you like put creatures that are tapped and attacking already onto the battlefield, something like that. That's how you do it. Master of Cruelty is gonna poke you with this the death stick. Death stick. You go to 1. Yeah, it works if you cheat him. All right, I believe that. So you just gotta cheat him and play, and then he's playable. And we got Daryl with the super chat. Hirobi, Death's Whale. Hirobi? The whale? Oh, I thought when I read that, I was like, it's like an actual, like, Samu. Samu? Is it Samu? Who's the whale? Who's the killer whale from the movie? I don't remember anymore. I never watched the movie. Black, 2 generic for a 4/4 flying spirit. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. But it includes itself. So the dream though, yeah, you get this thing on the battlefield and you're ready to just target people with stuff like, okay, this target creature is a blue creature until end of turn. Oh wait, it also dies thanks to Hirobi, Death's Whale. So make sure nobody targets Hirobi. From the ashes of Ritu rose a new Kami, and thereafter, at every battle came Hirobi, Death's Whale. We got Gunblade again. Hey, Gunblade is paying today. Any lockets, i.e. Boros locket? I didn't even know there was a locket cycle. 3 mana. Well, this is a terrible mana rock, but then you can pay a hybrid of Boros, tap, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. This card's terrible. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is just terrible. This is absolute trash. But I mean, it's a store of value, I guess, in some way. So you got your ramp, and then one day you can blow it for 2 cards. 2 cards ain't too bad if the game goes long. Yeah, when you click super chat, it wipes out your text. You got to retype. Okay, so it sounds like it's a little gimmicky. Alright, Kusu back again. And another note, I tried to make 1,000-Year Storm work. Keep working. Keep making it work. Red, blue, 4 generic. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant or sorcery spell you've cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Based on the price, yeah, it's like a $1, $2 card, so people like this card, but, you know, very, very difficult to make work. But we play it because we play it for those days when it does work, you know? Maybe it's not today, maybe it's not tomorrow, but someday. We got here, the stick bug can certify Master of Cruelties is sick in Commander. That's not a bad card at all. Daniel Coley. Literally any card from PTK that's not Ravages of War or Imperial Seal. Oh, what's it called? Portal something Kingdom? Portal 3 Kingdom? Specifically, I like Kong Ming Sleeping Dragon. Kong Ming in my mono white commander deck. The Sleeping Dragon. So white 2 generic 2/2. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Wow, a classic lord. Simple yet effective. Henrik with Crystalline Giant. Trying to look out for the freebies out here, because there's so many people. You know, I don't want to feel like this is... it's pay to win, but I still want to give people a chance. Crystalline Giant. Oh god, this card. It's 3 mana for a 3/3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it, from Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, and +1/+1. Put a counter of that kind on Crystalline Giant. Yeah, at random that doesn't have on it, so you have to keep choosing one less. Keeping track of this is annoying. And it's not like it's a powerful card, you're just playing it for the jankness, you know what I mean? Javier. What am I going to give you for a super chat? We'll give you this one. Unexpected Results. I thought this card is absolute jank nonsense. I am embarrassed to say that I lost to this card once in Modern. Actually, more than once. Twice. It was like a Tron deck that was playing blue. It was like a blue Tron deck with a splash, or I should say it could be like a green Tron deck with a splash of blue. Shuffle your library, then reveal the top card. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield and return unexpected results to its owner's hand. And I don't know how, but they always threw an Eldrazi at me. It wasn't so unexpected. They shuffle their library. How did they do that? That's like magic. Anyway. That was a bunch of nonsense to me. Yeah, Free Willy! That's what I was talking... The... Shamu! The whale. That's what I was talking about. Shamu. That was it. Casual Gaming Sofa. Sphinx's Tutelage. Sphinx's Tutelage. What does this card do? Blue 2 generic enchantment. When you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If they're both non-land cards that share color, repeat the process. And you can pay a blue 5 generic, draw a card, then discard. Oh, draw a card, this discard a card. Why don't they just let you have the card? For 6 mana, they should just let you keep it. Tell me, Casual Gaming Sofa, have you ever milled anyone out with Sphinx's Tutelage? I'm gonna guess the answer is no. Oh, but whenever you draw a card, you can... Oh, I guess if you have, like, infinite card draw, which is not technically infinite, because it's got to run out at some point, right? Someone building a mill deck is going to be inspired by this card. Tofu! Tofu Crumbs. That's a really unique username. Love it. Folio of Fancies. The Tofu Crumbs. Because the thing is, it's really hard to have tofu crumbs. It's usually, I don't know, the way I eat tofu, it's usually pretty soft and squishy. Alright, so, blue 1 generic artifact. Players have no maximum hand size. Alright? Draw as many cards as you want, boys and girls. We go XX tap. Each player draws X cards. Oh my god. And then blue 2 generic. Each opponent puts a number of cards equal to the number of cards in their hand from the top of their library into their graveyard. Each opponent puts a number of cards equal to the number of cards in their hand from the top. Oh, so this is... You sneaky miller! You know what's funny? A lot of these cards are all about milling. Everyone's just finding a way to, like, mill their opponents out somehow. Alright, everyone. Draw cards. Draw them up. Yes. It's all on me. It's on the house. Hey, now, that crystal giant can snowball. Coalition, that's banned. Coalition victory. That's banned. Well, it's not banned in Modern. Okay, well, if are you trying it in Modern? You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. You know, with the triomes, it almost looks playable. There's probably some random with like you could play. Has no one ever tried this with like that? What's it called? The Niv Mizzet. There's like a 5-color Niv Mizzet out there, right? This looks like a win condition. I guess it's just a bad win condition. Might as well just win with Scape Shift or something. Gotta tap out for this guy. Little too hard. Daryl's like, I'm a huge supporter of Mill. Mill must stick together. I should infiltrate the Mill Discord. See what's going on in the Mill Discord. Dothe Voidwider sucks to play against. Great card, though. Oh, yeah, we're talking about bad cards today. Astro with the Maze's End. You love your Maze's End, do you? Has anyone ever lost to Maze's End? I did in Standard. That doesn't count. But outside of Standard, it's hard to lose to this card. Enters a battlefield, tap to add 1 mana to your mana pool. Pay 3, return it to your hand. Search your library for a gate card put onto the battlefield. Then if you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. The movie is heartbreaking. Ah, well, okay, then I'm not gonna go see the Shamu or Shamu, Free Willy. Does the Willy die? I'm assuming Willy dies. What do we have? We've got Ink. Okay, Malfigor. It suggests Ink, Treader, Nephilim, whatever the hell that is. Blue, white, green, red for a 3/3 Nephilim. Whenever a player plays an instant or sorcery spell, if an Ink, Treader, Nephilim is the only target of that spell, copy the spell for each other creature that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. Whenever a player, so basically you're gonna target this thing. Whenever a player plays in it, how do you make this work? It's like, so basically it's gonna be something like target this, draw a card. Like you're gonna target with something innocent and harmless, but you get some benefit like draw a card, and then you get to copy, and then you just target more things and draw more cards. It's the only way I can think of. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. Copy the spell for each other creature. Yeah, so each other creature. So if it's like target creature gets plus 0 minus, minus 4 minus 0, draw a card. You could draw a card for every other card on the battlefield. I think that's the dream you're trying to live. I think that's the dream you're trying to live. Oh, you could turn a kill spell into a board wipe as well. That works as well. Yeah, that does work. All right, we got some super chats rolling in. You know it's Arikusu again. Just emptying the bank account today. Maybe the real janky cards are the friends we made along the way. That's right. It's the friends we made along the way. We've got Approaching Calamity. Trying to get Cody. Maybe that's another one that's another video title I could have made. Cards we're trying to make work but haven't made work yet. And then maybe we could maybe chat can help make it work. Cody, Vociferous Codex, 3 mana for a 1. It's a creature. It's a construct. You can't cast permanent spells. Well, that sucks. Pay 4, tap, add Wooburg. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards on the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery card with lesser mana value. Whenever you cast your next spell. So you have to pay 4, add, you get the Wooburg, so at least you can cast a spell. Okay, so we found something with lesser mana value. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in any order. So basically, you can't cast your cards, you just get them randomly from your deck. You're just rolling a slot machine all the time. So you have to stack your deck constantly, as far as I'm concerned. Energizer, did we do Mechaton Core yet? Nope. Mech Titan. Mech Titan Core. 2 mana, 2/4 vehicle, 5 exile it, and 4 other artifact creatures and/or vehicles you control. Create the Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, And lifelink! And haste! That's all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core except Mech Titan Core to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of this card, to be honest. I'm surprised. This card has some potential, you know? It's got a little bit... It's got something going for it. I mean, it's got everything. But it doesn't... Oh, it's not indestructible. It's a bit of a problem. It's not quite Merit Lage. That's a very nice... legendary Mech Titan you got over there. It'd be a shame if I Fatal Push it. Or March of Otherworldly Light or something to it. Or Solitude it, for that matter. We got Jory, Snake of the Golden Grove. Thanks for joining us, Jory. We got for a green 4 generic, a 4/4 with Tribute 3. Enters the battlefield, an opponent of your choice may place 3 counters on it. I don't get it. An opponent of your choice may place 3 counters? So when Snake of Golden Grove enters the battlefield, if Tribute wasn't paid, you gain 4 life. Ah, okay, so an opponent can make it a 7/7 or you gain 4 life. I'm sure, like, you know, maybe that was a limited bomb in your time. You had some good memories. You know, a lot of these cards that we play, aren't they nostalgic? Like, that was my card. Misdirection was so nostalgic. That's why I want to play it today. I love those blowouts. It's just that, like, it just doesn't do what I want it to do today. So, yeah, this is a card. I'm sure it was a bomb in limited. Not so good in, like, high-powered, any format with power. Raguel. Promise of Loyalty. Promise of Loyalty. Just like my promise to Merfolk. Okay, white 4 generic sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacks the rest on just 1 creature. So you put your loyalty to 1 creature. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacks the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you. Oh, that's interesting. So it's like a board wipe, and what's left can only attack other players, but they can't attack you. That is neat. This seems like a great card. It's like one of the best cards I'd never heard of. So you create it's basically a board wipe, but you get to keep your creature, and your opponents get to keep creatures that can only attack each other, so that they can't attack you. That's sweet. Love it. Oh god, Mana Short is garbage. Mana Short. It's just one of those empty mana pool cards. A card I've been trying to make work since 1995. Well, you won't! It's just instant tap all lands target player controls and empty his or her mana pool. Truth be told, I did play this card back in the day. But that was when I was a pony. A super pony. Phyrexian on life. Just throw it in your ad nauseum deck. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life, and as long as you have 0 or less life, all damage dealt to you is dealt as though it has Infect. This is a great card. It's a super good card. Zach with Insult and Injury. Insult and Injury. Okay, so Insult. Damage can't be prevented this turn. If a source you control would deal damage this turn, it deals double that damage instead. Yeah, that's awkward, because you need to spend a turn in order to... You might as well have just spent the card dealing damage. But anyway, it's got... Can we turn this around, please? It's got Injury. Aftermath. Cast the spell only from your graveyard, then exile. Injury deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. Honestly, pretty underwhelming. Pretty underwhelming. But if you love it, you love it. We can't say why we love cards. We just love cards. Oh! Angel of Glorious Rise is amazing. There was an actual standard combo deck with this card. I want the original one. Flying. When Angel of Glorious Rise enters the battlefield, exile zombies, then return all human creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. There was some way of... There was a combo with this. I don't even remember the combo that involved a bunch of humans and zombies, I think. There's a battlefield. Exile all zombies. Then return... No, it was called Human Reanimator. It was all human cards. And the humans exiled each other to get Angel of Glorious Rise to put all the creatures back into the graveyard. I can't remember how this worked. It's somehow you sacked your board, and then you could bring it back over and over again and get a bunch of ETB triggers that kill your opponent with this. It was a really cool card. Halo Fountain. If anyone knows that combo, remembers that standard combo, let us all know in the comment section. This ain't good. It's like a $4 card. White 2 generic artifact. Pay white, tap, untap a tapped creature you control. Create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Pay 2. Untap 2 tap creatures you control. Draw a card. And then pay 5. Untap 15 tap creatures you control. You win the game. I think it's pretty cool. It's not bad. Levy with the super chat. Avatar of Hope. White 6 generic for a 4/9. If you have 3 or less life, Avatar of Hope costs 6 less to play. Flying. Avatar of Hope may block any number of creatures. If you have 3 or less life, I mean, you are in a lot of trouble, in my opinion. A lot of trouble. I barely remember the Angel combo. Neither. I think it had Fiend Hunter in it, because I think it needed to exile the Angel of Glory's Rise to bring it back to the battlefield, to re-bring everything back. Does such a card exist? Credit voucher? Okay, let's see if I can speedrun a bunch of fan favorites here for free. 2 mana, 2. Tap, sacrifice credit voucher, shuffle any number of cards from your hand into your library, then draw that many cards. You have to sack this card? But you gotta save a bunch of garbage in your hand. You're gonna save a bunch of garbage and exchange it for some treasure. The Stick Bug, Finn. Oh yeah, that's a build around card, isn't it? The Fang Bear. I got some. This was a huge fan favorite in Decklist review when we used to do that. Green 1 generic 1/3 Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Maybe this is gonna come back. Because they're gonna, a new Phyrexian set's coming out, they're gonna bring poison back to some extent, or some sort of version of infect or something. What do they call it? I don't know. I saw the mechanic, but I don't remember what it is. Samurai Supreme Inquisitor. Supreme Inquisitor. Blue 3 generic. Tap 5 untap wizards you control. Search target player's library for up to 5 cards and remove them from the game. That player shuffles his or her library. It's hard to fight on an empty mind. Yeah, it is. It is hard to fight on an empty mind. All right, let me find all your win conditions and all your tutor targets. Say goodbye to those. Oh, that's it's a feel good on this side. It's a feel bad on the other side. People hate that stuff. Larry Ixidor, the reality sculptor. Ixidor. There's mind sculptors and then there's reality sculptors. Come the wizards. Face down creatures get +1/+1. Pay a blue 2 generic turn target. Face down creature face up. What do you got going on over there? But then at the same time you do it for yourself. So what, you have a morph deck? Oh god. King Ginger, new poison mechanic is toxic. They're bringing poison back, people. Be prepared. Gustavo loves gifts ungiven. Wait, it's still, this card is still good. It just has no home anymore. This is still a super powerful card. Make no mistake. Search your library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of them. Put the chosen cards in your graveyard and the rest in your hand. It still is going to be a great graveyard, like a graveyard combo card. So, I mean, it doesn't even need to be for Storm. There is some deck waiting to play this card again. It's a really good card. Does such a card exist? Totally Lost. Totally Lost. Blue 4 generic. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. There's like better cards for this, isn't there? Or is there not? This card is a penny. This card is literally a penny. You want to see how much this card costs? It's a penny! Totally Lost. You are totally lost. It's just, I think it's just a smidge expensive for the effect. It's a good effect though. Killer Bees from GWJ. Killer Bees. Still haven't gotten that big 1-turn kill. Green 1 generic. Flying. Killer Bees gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This card by all means is terrible. So wait, with infinite mana, you can kill someone in one shot? It's just literally, it's Birds of Paradise with no pump. Sorry, no, Birds of Paradise adds mana. I don't know a good analogy for this. 3 mana for a random flying creature. I got my green flyer out here. I don't think I got Nexus. Dual Nature. Anyone get a card in? Who hasn't got a card today? I want everyone to get a card. Dual, is it Dual Nature? Dual Nature. Green, 4 generic. Whenever an enchantment, whenever a creature comes into play, its controller puts a creature token into play that's a copy of that creature. We can make it we're making copies here. Whenever a creature card leaves play, remove all tokens with the same name as that creature from the game. And when Dual Nature leaves play, remove all tokens created with it from the game. It's a funsy card out there. Oh, we've got Jay with the super chat, finishing it all off. Demigod of Revenge. And it's better in Constructed than Commander. So you got the hybrid Rakdos for a 5/4 flying haste. When you cast it, though, return all cards named Demigod of Revenge from your graveyard to the battlefield. I got smoked by this once in Modern, so it does have big, powerful potential, but it's very just difficult to pull off, that's all. But yeah, this is... Yeah, so many people want some Nikachu. Don't worry, we'll do this one again. This was obviously a very I know it's popular, because when we do the best of videos, everyone's squeezing in their pet cards, and I'm like, this is not really one of the best sorceries or lands out there. This is a pretty it's a little bit awkward. I have a feeling there's a little nostalgia attached to this card. People are putting their feelings a little bit investing their feelings too much into some of those cards out there. But anyway, if you want to be part of the show and show off your favorite cards, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks everyone for your support, all the super chats, everyone who's a member on YouTube and a patron on Patreon. Links to support the channel in the description. But those super chats keeps the channel going. I would never miss a day without those super chats, so thank you very much. But the most important thing is to thank all you guys, because as usual, you guys are the show. If it wasn't for you guys, I got nothing. And everyone on the replay would have nothing. So everyone on the replay, you got to thank the coffee crew out there for bringing us the great show that we have today. So keep brewing up those coffees, coffee crew, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next